Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Jibran and you're watching Talks with TC. I'm here with my friends Ekta and Himanshu and we are back with another video. So, a teacher, a simple seven-letter word, but the meaning of which can encapsulate the whole universe. A teacher is someone who just doesn't give you education, but also molds your life. From Albert Einstein to Michelangelo, every great person who ever achieved something had one thing in common: one or more amazing teachers, people who believed in them when they couldn't do it for themselves. Guys, today's episode is pretty close to my heart because today we have someone who's a student, a teacher, a mentor, and a parent. She's someone who taught me about aeroplanes by taking me to the airport. She taught me about kings in history by playing treasure hunt games with me. She taught me about respect by paying respect to me. She taught me about love and care by showing love and care to strangers and pets. But finally, and more importantly, she taught me about how to be a gentleman by being a gentlewoman herself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my favorite teacher and my mentor for life, Mrs. Ismat Vakil Ahmed. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Gibran. That was a
How are you?
very elaborate introduction that you gave me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's an honor to have you with us today.
It's a proud moment for me also because seeing you on this platform is something that I had never dreamt of. And today, you, as a full grown up kid, have come to this point of interviewing me, and I feel proud of it. God bless
Thank
you.
you so Thank you so much, ma'am. So I'll quickly go about how this is gonna go. So we have a set of questions that we have prepared for you, and
Okay.
once the main section ends, we have a rapid fire round for you, which is more of like an impromptu section. And then after that
Okay.
section also ends, we have a small activity that we have planned for you.
Oh, that's
S-
nice.
So we can
My
start
old
whenever you.
bones. Just
No, it's
remember my old bones. I don't have to do a lot of jumping and hopping.
no. You don't have to do a lot of jumping and humping. It's just a small and fun video in activity in which you have to just sit at
Go
one
ahead.
place and.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
Okay.
before we start the interview, we do this thing in which what we do is we laugh from our stomachs. So we
Okay.
have to laugh twice or thrice from our stomachs. I'll show it how we usually do it. We laugh out as loud as we can. It makes us feel energetic and happy. So what we have to do is ha 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 only two times. So
Okay.
it's your turn now.
Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha.
Okay, that being said, let's start with our questions. The
Okay.
very first question that I have for you is that being a teacher and being a parent, what do you feel? Are they very different or does one affect the another?
Uh, as a teacher and as a parent, yes, it does affect a lot because a, when you are a mother, you are a born teacher too. For your child, his home, the first cradle is his institution where he learns everything from his mother. So, being a mother and being a teacher are not two very different things. It comes to a mother very naturally that she teaches a child. She may not teach her the alphabet, he may not teach her the numericals, she may not teach anything else, but the values, the morals, everything goes by it. And yes, it is a challenge for the children. Why? Because if a child goes to a school where the mother is working, it is a challenge for him. Every little thing that he does comes back to the teacher saying, your son did this, your daughter did this. And that is a challenge. He can never play pranks. He's always caught by someone or the other. And then it trails back to the mother, which is a challenge for the mother too, because children obviously they do one thing. It is always that they misunderstand their parents. So they keep on thinking, where is the third eye that you got to know it? How did you get to know? So it is a difficult job to be a mother and a teacher. But otherwise, a mother is first a teacher and then a mother.
Okay, that's a lovely, lovely answer. And that brings me to the second question, that is that you've been in the education line for a real, real long time. You've experienced it change and take a shape. Also, recently the announcement of NEP happened. What are your views on it, and what do you think are the good and bad things about the school education system today?
Uh, the new educational policy, which aims to make the Indian education system more contemporary and skill oriented. And it is important, yes, there are a lot of features in the present policy that is tangible and also realizable targets. But there are certain concerns too. Like after 28 years, the new education policy is coming to being, and recommending the primary education in local languages, the facilitating of the possible entry of foreign universities in India, and creating a single higher education regulator and an easier board examination. All these are, they are all, I mean, you know, they are ones which can be realized, but at the same time, it needs a proper planning. Now, for instance, if you take the Balwadis and the Anganwadis, this is where our focus is on pre-primary education, should be in fact, because that is the place where they need to learn the numericals and the alphabet and everything. So all that we have been teaching otherwise in other place, in other higher schools or in primary schools, should come down to pre-primary level. It will be a good change. We do see that there is, because there are a lot of points, like for example, the flexibility of the streams are wonderful. A child who's interested in biology and at the same time is interested in music, he can choose any one. So the flexibility of the streams are there. Then there is no Hindi imposition now. Like Tamil Nadu was very upset with the idea that they're going to have Hindi, and they did not agree to it. So that is no longer there. Then we have the attempt to build university industry interface, and you have the attempt. There's been no attempts of saffronization, which we see in this policy now. Children will be more of practical work. We have the Atal Tinkering Labs, which have been very, very successful. Children have got into a new kind of a concept of learning by doing, and it has been very successful. The government has been very supportive to that. But getting the 6% GDP, in getting our institutions for 6% GDP to be in the amount of money to be involved into education, I do not know how they're going to do it. But with planning, yes, every school, be it a government or a private school, funds are required, because unless there are funds, you cannot progress. You cannot, I mean, school cannot. And of course, that idea of having a common, the school coming into a school of cluster of schools, where supposing there's a good physics lab and there are schools in the, say, 20 kilometers range, where the children can be brought by buses and then they can use the facility. That's a good idea, but I do not know how feasible it will be, getting children from one school to another. But otherwise, it looks promising. What it is, I feel, in fact, I was there with 1986, the education policy that was there. It came in when I was just starting my career, and that was also a good policy. But what happened was, they did not know the CCE, for instance. That was very good, and I really appreciated that, because that was actual holistic approach to getting children having all-round development. But then they were not prepared. Somehow the teachers were not prepared. Now, for instance, you take this pandemic that has come in, and everything has gone digital. Teachers sitting in their rooms preparing, it's become 24/7 for them. But then they've got their own glitches. There are children who are too tense. They do not know how to get across to the teachers. There are children who do not have even the facility of a laptop, forget about a phone. So there are a lot of glitches in every, but any policy that comes into being needs to be well planned and well funded. And then I think it's going to be a hit. Teachers, we need to have a little training for the teachers. Like, yes, overnight, all the school that went online, the online teaching that went on, it was a tough job for them. And I've come from Kashmir. My last engagement was in Kashmir, where for, say, about 10, 12 years ago only, we had already become online. So those teachers did not have much of a problem. But places in the rural areas, special schools in the rural areas, faced a lot of problem. Even in the cities. I mean, children, there is one house and they've got 4 siblings, each one attending. The mother has to do a lot of running around. The parents have to do, each child's got a time. It clashes with one sibling to another. So there were glitches, but this looks like a promising policy, and we look forward to it.
That's amazing. And flexibility is actually important, because I think the meaning of education is to provide flexibility. I mean, the basic education or the specialized education allows one to, spread their hands and try everything that they can. And I think that is very nice. The answer that you gave is very amazing. And also about the funds, I mean, it's rightly said that once to earn money, initially you also need to invest some amount of money. So that's an amazing answer, ma'am. That gets me to the third question, that is, if given a free hand to teach in your own way, how would you make teaching fun and creative? Any exercises that you would like to share with us?
Teaching is absolutely a fun act. It should be a fun activity, because now we've of course we've come centuries away from that. There has to be a lot of classroom learning activities, the child's accomplishment. He has to have a hand-on experience with whatever they do. And then they enjoy it, because you cannot, there's no more rote learning. Even the assessments that they've done this time is going to be testing the knowledge and not rote learning, which is a very, very big leap in education, which most of the institutions, especially the private institutions, have been doing it. And it is not that the government schools, especially the Navodaya, and then you have the central school, the Kendriya Vidyalaya, they're doing wonderful. The children are doing, I mean, it is something that is really, it has left all of us dumbfounded, like how children from rural areas, because all Navodayas are in the rural places and regions, and they're doing very well. So, and they have to do, it has to be a hand-on experience. They have to do a lot of practical, and that is what Atal Tinkering Labs are about. The government has been very supportive. They've been giving lakhs of rupees to every school. The children put up their project. It is accepted. Every year they have been doing this, and then they are doing very well. So it has to be that practical, hands-on learning experience is really good, because that is what rote learning no longer applies to anything. We have got the best brains. India is famous for it. It's only that we cannot utilize the brains. The IITs and the IIMs are the best institutes, no doubt about it. But even then, the schools in the rural areas are doing very well. So we need to have a lot of practical imbibed in our learning system.
Exactly. I mean, I think the practical approach is the solution for the future. There's no wax on and wax off for education and knowledge. I think one learns by doing it, and the fact that people are realizing that right now, I mean, it's a bit late, I would say, but yeah, but the fact that they are realizing it is actually that means a good change is about the corner. That's an amazing answer. So that gets me to the final question of our main section. And this is actually kind of an emotional question, because, being a teacher is one of the most important and prestigious jobs. You literally shape the lives of human beings. But unfortunately, it is also one of the most underpaid and underappreciated jobs. What keeps you going? I mean, what are those moments that make it all worth it?
Money is important, no doubt. But at the end of the day, when you see these children grow up, they grow up to their aspirations that they have. They grow up to, I mean, it's such a big, huge expectation for a child. He's got his parents, he's got his teachers, he's got the peer. There are a lot of expectations for these children, and then the way they go about it, it has a very, very a big impact on the lives. And every child is important, is unique. You cannot say that you've got the 5 fingers of a hand, the 5 fingers in a palm, they're all different. So even if there is the same mother and the same father, the children are different. So you cannot, each child is unique. And every child needs to be attended to. That is what is differential learning nowadays, that we have been involving teachers to teach in different ways. It's not that a child who is, has some kind of a physical or they are differently abled, so the teachers need to teach them differently. And differentiation is one thing that has to be taught in classrooms, because unless that is done there, you cannot attend to each child. And we've seen so many examples of children. That is why, in fact, there were times when our school days, back in our school days, we had sections A, B, C, D, which even now carried on. Like, parents do think that if it's a section A, that means the best. They are the high IQ children, and then the B means a little lower, and C, it's nothing like that. It has to be a unanimous now. Every section should have all kinds of grades, children. And that is why the grade system came into being, because I also feel that a child who scores 100 and a child who scores 95 is no different than, even if a child who scores 85 is no different, his intelligence is no way less than the child who scored 100. So that is why the grading system has come in. And that was a good approach. way back in 1992. I remember, I really wish we had made a patent for it, because we were the principal, his wife, myself, and there was another teacher. We four of us got together and made this grading system. This way back in 1990, when we thought that no, a child, it need not be scholastic at all. It need not be academic at all. If a child is weak in studies, he's good in games, even then he should get the scoring. And that is when we had developing every child's potential. And that is what I believe. Developing each child's potential is very, very important.
So-
and I go by Steve Jobs, what Steve Jobs had said. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules. You can quote them, you can disagree with them, you can glorify them or vilify them. But the only thing that you cannot do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while for some they may seem to be crazy ones, we see genius in them, because the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who really do. Every child is unique.
No, I mean, exactly. I mean, seeing a child excel in whatever he likes or she likes is, I think, makes it all worth it for being a teacher. And that's an amazing answer for the final section, final question of the main section. And now we are heading into the rapid fire round. Now, this is more of like a fun section in which we're going to ask you impromptu questions about yourself, and you'll have to answer as quickly as possible. So-
I'm too bad at that, but let me see. Let me give it a try.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to manage the answers, but let's see how you do. So the
Okay.
first question that I have for you in the rapid fire round is this. You are trapped on an island. Okay, imagine you are trapped on an island and you have the option of carrying a few books and movies. So what would those books be and what would those movies be?
The Little Prince by Antoine is the book that I would like to carry. And the movie that I would like to go along with is The Three Letters from Steady Stoddard. It's called The Three Letters. Every teacher watching this, every parent watching this should read this. The Little Prince is about a little boy and what creativity is all about. And the three letters is about Teddy Stoddard, a child and a teacher makes a vast difference in it. You know, you can make a child or you can mar the child. And that is an example. These are two books that I would love to carry with me.
That's very nice. That's very nice. So the next question would be one or two embarrassing and amazing memories of yourself being a teacher.
As a teacher.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the best examples that I would give was of a little child. She was studying in class 8, and her grandfather brings her to me and tells me that here is a child, madam, isko aage nahi padhna hai. कुछ भी हो जाए, इसको चूल्हा चोखा करना है और वो पढ़ाई नहीं करेगी. And the girl said, I am going to. Against all odds, he burnt the books. They beat her up, did everything. And today, this Dr. Khetri is in Singapore and she's a leading doctor. And I think the only specialist in kidney and kidney problems. And I mean, I'm amazing. It's amazing to see them. And there's not only one case, there are hundreds of cases that I can quote. This was one. And there was another which has really touched my heart was when a little boy, he was also in class 9. He broke the glass pane. He broke the glass pane and it was a 5-story building and he broke it with his hand and there were all cuts all over and everybody was disturbed to see what happened. Why did he do it? There were people talking, there were principal there. I mean, there were everybody saying that he has to be expelled from school and everything. And I said, okay, let me have my time with him. Let me see what happened. So I asked him, why did you do this? He said, ma'am, I was very angry. I said, you were angry? So you were angry. So do you know how much it was? Luckily, it was the break it was over. I said, if the break was going on and if you had done this, the children there would be a casualty and the children would have been hurt. So why did you do this? And what do you think about if I have to speak to your father, and if I tell him, he literally caught hold of my leg and said, ma'am, please don't do that. I said, why? And he picked up his shirt. And when I could see the red, blue, black marks on his back. He had been beaten up with a belt. I said, what is your father doing? He said, he's a stone breaker. Trust me, my heart skipped a beat. How could he do this? And imagine we expelling a child because of this. I said, but why did you lose your temper? Why did you lose your cool? He said, because my ma'am told me it was a simple sentence that the teacher had said. And I don't say that she had said it deliberately, but she did consciously or unconsciously. She did a big blunder by telling him, you're not going to do anything in this life. क्या बनोगे इस दुनिया में? तुम्हें कुछ बनना नहीं है, तुम यहाँ बेकार पढ़ने आते हो. You know, this touched us out. It was very, very, really touching and thing. And this is where I say the parents need to step in to find out. Now we've got a wonderful system that we started calling parents. There's a lot of interaction between parents and school, you know, and then almost every school has got this now, that they reach out to the parents. The parents reach out and they have a lot of discussion. They discuss the learning activities. They discuss the child's accomplishments. They do a lot, many things. So, and there's another case which I had read. It's not that it happened with me, but I had read about was there were two children. Let us take it, for example, Avishek Maheshwari and Avishek Mishra. Now, Avishek Mishra was an outstanding student, whereas Avishek Maheshwari was one who was absolutely a low performer. And the teacher was new, and there was a parent-teacher meet. And when the parent came, she mistook Maheshwari's mother to be Mishra's mother. And she spoke all the best. The mother was very disappointed. She sat all the time listening to the, because she was all prepared that आज फिर शुरू होगा कि मैडम आपके बेटे ने ये नहीं किया, वो नहीं किया, वो नहीं किया. So, but the teacher had mistaken her. So she mistaken the boy. So she said, आपके बच्चे ने बहुत अच्छा किया है, बहुत मेहनत कर रहा है, मैं खुश हूँ. I'm happy that he's putting in a lot of efforts. अब वो इंटरेस्ट ले रहा है और हमें पता है कि वो बहुत लंबी, बहुत दूर तक जाएगा. आप लोग इसी तरह उसके साथ एक बॉन्ड बनाइए. And you know, she spoke all the normal things that we talk. The mother went back home, and the son was, he had become used to it, that now she'll come back, she'll give me a good long sermon. The father will come, maybe a slap or two. But the mother had tears in his eyes, and she said, you did wonderful. Your teacher spoke so well for the first time. And trust me, after that, the child really picked up. 2 weeks after, the class teacher rings up to say, Madam, आपने क्या किया? अभिषेक तो बहुत अच्छा कर रहा है. So she said, मैंने कुछ नहीं किया है, आपकी टीचर ने बोला और मैं आके बताई हूँ. So just imagine, a small praise goes a long way, which every teacher, every parent need to understand. So
that's a lovely one. Please continue. Sorry.
It's done. I mean, this is what I wanted to convey to everyone who's viewing. So you're all young ladies and gentlemen, so you need to know how to get across. You need to know there's what Sushant has done, what has come as a big shock to us. But there's somewhere, if he had connected with people or people had connected with him, maybe things would have been different. And there are every day these cases are of suicide and of all these things, depression, frustration, they all come up. But if one teacher, so I was telling you about the 3 letters, all of you must watch it.
That's a lovely message, ma'am. And that gets me to the next question. That is the most important or fun thing that you ever learned from a student.
From a student that I learned. Oh, that was nice. You've taken me back to way back in 76, 77 when I was a young girl. And I actually did not want to become a teacher. That was the last thing on my, on my agenda. I've always been told that I'm a creative person, and I wanted to go in for textile designing. But it was late in admission time, and my mom did not allow me. I wanted to take admission in National Institute of Designing in Ahmedabad. In those days, it was the only institute which gave you a diploma, and it was a 5-year-old course. So it was a time and then I was late for my admission. So I was a little disappointed when my father takes me to a school and he said, let's just visit the school. I said, Baba, Abbu, I want to do everything, but I don't want to become a teacher, please. He said, no, you please, let's just go and visit. And the school is still there in Bhubaneswar. They were very proud. We were sharing the same panel a few days ago. So I went there, and once I walked in, I didn't feel like walking out. And it so happened a week after, I was just walking down the one of the classrooms to reach the principal's room. It was a very small school, primary school. When I walked into the principal's room, and there were 2-3 teachers who walked in along with me, rolling with laughter and telling me, Miss, aapne kya kiya? I said, what? I didn't do anything. Did I do something? He said, yes. Aapne kya bola us bacche ko? मैंने कुछ नहीं बोला. I was nervous in front of the principal. Tomorrow my job will be at stake. So he said, I just told him, close your mouth and eat. She said, please go and have a look. When I went, I saw him holding a biscuit like this and he was doing this. The ma'am ne bola, close your mouth and eat. So that was really, I picked him up, I hugged him. He was such a sweet boy, he didn't know. Then I had to eat a biscuit and tell him this is the way to eat with your mouth closed. So that was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Okay, so kids do take things literally. That was one
Yeah,
learning that you
exactly.
had from your experience.
Communication is what I wanted to tell you is communication is very important, be it between a teacher and a child, a mother and a son, or say a father, even between adults. Communication is very important.
That's a very nice thing that you said, ma'am. And that gets me to the next question. That is, how would your teacher describe you as a student? And one of the naughtiest thing that you did as a student?
Oh my goodness, I've done many things. I was one of those handful. I remember it was in class 10 and my teacher was a physics teacher, Master Sutar, and he was one of the best students. He was a gold medalist, but unfortunately he could not come down to our level of teaching. I mean, we never understood what physics was. And now when I see my own children studying and I see it is such an interesting thing, physics is in everything that you find. So this Master Sutar, he used to take classes, you have those extra classes on Sundays also. So we were so bored, can't understand anything, but we have to give our attendance. So what we did was two girls, me and my friend, her name was Jyoti. We walked off the classroom and we said, sir, we want to go to the washroom, toilet. He said, again, toilet, you've just come. I said, sir, I'm sorry, but I need to go. I drank a little more water today. So this girl also says, sir, mujhe bhi jana hai. He was a little reluctant and then he said, both of you go. We went, we found his bicycle there. We said, aaj to isko puncture karna hai. And we literally pura sara hawa nikal diya hum logon ne unka. And then we came back and sat down. And later on when he went out, he was wondering, he said, dono chitke kaise flat ho gaye? He could not understand. Nobody knew what had happened. So there were really lot many things. And of course, there was one more with, again, this Master Sutar. I remember in those days, Vinod Khanna was there. And I had a little crush, those teenage crushes on him. So I had, it was a practical class going on. And then I had rolled the photograph of a big photograph that we had of Vinod Khanna. And then we were all singing. And then suddenly he comes and he pats me in the back. He said, Ismat, he had a typical Oriya accent. He said, Ismat, what are you doing? And what I did was, I said, sir, I opened it. Sir, he's such a handsome man. Isn't he handsome? He said, yes, he's handsome, but would you please get out of my class? And he made me stand out of the class. That was really, and the children were all rolling. That, ye kya kiya? Unko hi dikha diya, sir, ye kitna handsome hai. Ye to main sikhana. So there were many things that I have done. I cannot pinpoint. Lovely things that we have had. Really
But yeah,
enjoyed
these incidents become the most memorable memories of a lifetime.
Yeah, it is. I remember. And there another one was when I taken my class 10 students. We all went bicycling right on top of a mountain top and we sang the Sound of Music song. Do Re Mi, if you know what it is, that song. We sang that song and all the way we went on the mountain top. I can never ever forget. Really, you feel rejuvenated when I just go back into those days. I'm writing a book, by the way. There'll be a lot of anecdotes in that.
That's lovely. We wish you all the best for your book. And that was an amazing memory that you shared with us too.
And I have one of the memories of my son. The two siblings that they are a handful. Both my boys are a handful. And the younger one broke the glass. He broke a glass and then the elder one, he made a big round circle around it with a chalk and he said, keep away. Danger. He made a danger sign and I was hardly in class 2 or something and the little one was in nursery. So he made the circle and he said, and it really touched my heart. I said, I mean, really, this is something that a child of in class 2 was hardly, say, 5, 6 years old. And he had this, that he was very careful that the brother shouldn't be hurt. The parents are not at home. And he did this. So these are little things which go a long way. You remember them and you see this is actual education that is there.
That's a lovely memory, ma'am. That gets me to the next question. That is your favorite actress and your favorite movie. What would that be?
My favorite movie is obviously The Sound of Music. And then we have many movies were there. Many movies. We have Masoom is one. which has really touched me a lot. Then you have this Tare Zameen Par, something to do with children. Any movie to do with children, I go in for that because, and of course, I told you this the three letters, Teddy Sirrad's movie. It's a movie which really touches your heart. A very
That's
brief
lovely.
one, but it really touches your heart.
That's lovely. And your favorite actress?
My favorite actor, you should have asked Sylvester Stone. That he is more. Actress, there are plenty of them. I think Rekha's one, Waida Rahman, and among the newcomers, there are so many. I mean, different. You find different things in Zinat Aman. There are, and the latest. You should have asked me about Hrithik Roshan. I would have told you about that.
Please,
Vinod
please
Khanna,
tell me.
Hrithik Roshan, all this.
You have a very vast liking. That's
Very,
really nice.
very, yeah. Everything, every movie that I watch it with my children rather than school. When I say children, I mean the 100,000 that are there in school also.
That's
They're
lovely.
all my children. I love watching movies with them, especially English. There's a lot to learn from them.
That's lovely, ma'am. That's lovely. So one final question in the rapid fire round, and this is gonna be a very important question for all of us, and that's gonna be your favorite student all your life. Who would that be?
My favorite student. There's one child called Abhijit Sen,
Okay.
and he was one of my best students. And of course, my three children are they are not only my students, they are my teachers also. They've taught me a lot. And I've got the youngest student now at home. He's not much more. He's just, say, about 5 to 6 years elder to me. And he happens to be the youngest child at home, being my husband, who has to learn many things that I have to teach him.
That's a lovely answer, and that brings us to the end of our rapid fire round. And we have a very small activity planned for you, ma'am. So over to Ekta now. She'll be telling us about it.
Okay,
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, so people, you got to know about her as a teacher, but I would like to tell you that she is a wonderful mother also. So today I have planned one activity for Gibran and his mom, where they are going to know about each other a bit and also know what they did not know about each other.
Oh, that's great.
So, starting with the activity, I hope you guys are sitting with a sheet and a pen. So, what I want you to do is that, Gibran, you write your own name in your sheet, and Auntie writes her name, and do not show it. Are you done?
Okay, I'm done. Do I have to show it? No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
And wait, do not close the camera. Okay. Now you write Auntie's name in Auntie's handwriting style. And Auntie, you write Gibran's name in Gibran's handwriting.
This is
I'll
this
write
is a very,
Gibran's name.
in my
In
handwriting.
Gibran's handwriting.
That's a very tough one because my mom's handwriting is good, and I am.
So, like, the thing is whether you have noticed it.
Yes, I've done.
Okay.
Okay, just a second.
I'm done.
Okay.
Okay.
I tried
So
my
now
best.
show it, like, how similar is it? How much do you...
Okay, this is my mom's name that I've written.
His handwriting is horrible.
Like, my handwriting is more like a doctor's handwriting.
See that?
That is a very lovely handwriting. My handwriting is very bad.
Okay, so the main thing was how much you people have noticed each other's handwriting. And that was
Okay.
the only question for the sheet. And now coming to the next question. So this is for Auntie. So
Okay.
my mom, she keeps on telling me that when I was a kid, I used to hide eatables behind fridge or some boxes. So what was Gibran's favorite place to hide eatables, or
In his
just fill them?
pocket. In his pocket. He used to take those sweet meatballs. He have it. अब उसे बुलाते हैं, कोफ्ते कहते हैं. He was very fond of it. He put it into his pocket
Okay.
while
My
going to
mom.
school.
Okay.
While
While
actually,
going
he has
to
only
school?
done that once. He's only done
Okay.
that once. Otherwise, I'll give you now because you've told me. I'll tell you a wonderful practical joke that they did with each other. I brought both for both of them. We brought two Complan, डब्बे दोनों के अलग अलग लाए थे हम लोगों ने. And Gibran used to open his brothers and eat from that. And the younger one did the same by opening them. And both thought that हमारा डब्बा तो रखा हुआ है, हम एक दूसरे के डब्बे से खा. When one fine morning when they opened, they found that it was finished. Because he was eating from it, and that was a very nice place to find.
Okay, that was a good story that you told us. Now we have something to tease Gibran.
Yes.
So coming to the next question, this is for Gibran. So often our mothers have this, final warning indication, like when we test their patience to an extreme. So they just adjust their spectacles or they just make their hair or clear their throat. So what do you think is that final warning indication when it comes to your mother?
Okay, so I've had it a lot. I have had a lot of final warnings, so I know the answer to the question is that she just gives me a nasty look. So usually, what happens is she'll stop talking, and she'll just give me a very nasty kind of look. Okay,
If looks could kill.
exactly. We call it if looks could kill. So that is the look that she would give me. Like a tinted look from the side. That okay, I've had enough. Now you need to stop. So that was the final signal that she usually gives.
Okay, so coming to the next question, this is for Auntie. So for viewers, Jabran has been studying outside for 4 years, and whenever he often visits his home for vacations and all. So this question is for Auntie, that what is that one thing that Jabran talks about the most whenever he comes to home?
Whenever he comes home, he carries all kinds of stories. He'll never tell me about his girlfriends. He'll not, seldom does he speak about his friends. These days, the topic has been tech. Tech has been a lot of discussion. Otherwise, he talks about everything on earth. I mean, anything that touches him. If he's seen something, he goes into details and he talks about it. And he's his mother's boy, because I was exactly the same with my father. He used to call me the nursery child has come back home, even after my marriage. So there's the same thing. He's got lots and lots of stories which he loves to share. He discusses about the books that he has read, the movies that he has seen, and the pranks that they've played. And I mean, everything. He likes to share everything with me, other than his girlfriends.
I don't have any girlfriend, so
He's only got one or two, not too many, as much as I know. And I keep telling you, if you're serious, please let me know beforehand.
That's beautiful. And Jabran has so many stories he tells us also, and it is so good, like the way he conveys it, and the message is so clear about it, and he's so observant about all the things going on in his surroundings. It's very good. Okay,
thank
so
you so
now
much.
the next question is for Jabran. So what is the last thing that your mom says every time she hangs up the call?
Hangs up the call. Okay, so she has this habit of saying Khuda Hafiz and Allah ke bharose. So it's not even just call, but whenever if it's like I'm going out to some place or my brother is going out, anybody, like even if it's a friend or a relative, she'll just say ki Khuda Hafiz, Allah ke bharose, jao. So she has this line that she usually says every time whenever we hang up or we go out somewhere. Even if it's for a long time, for example, if I go to my college or something, she'll just say this. So yeah.
Okay. So now the next question is for Auntie. So have you people been in some trip together? Okay.
A trip
So
together, yes. I think he's gone. We've had very few trips where we can say that we went out. Kasoli was one where we had gone together, and in Kashmir, of course, not many. Every weekend there was a trip together to Pahalgam, to all other places that were there.
Good
Very
point.
beautiful places, and we had gone together. So every trip. But yes, if you talk about long trips, most memorable ones were the ones which we would travel by train, which I've stopped for the past 15, 17 years, a privilege that I was given that I could travel by flight. My children literally detest that because they do not enjoy the kind of grub that they eat are in the trains. So they would enjoy that. And those were really as a child, as a kid, they really enjoyed those trips.
Okay,
We
that's
used to have
lovely.
them. Yes, every weekend we used to go out, enjoy. I take them. I even taken them for the birthdays to orphanages. Gibran was very, very fussy about food. The other two are not that fussy about food, but he is very fussy. But my children never wasted food, and it was like an adding a feather to my cap. And the day when I took them to the orphanage, and there they saw how children, we had carried a few dozen eggs and bread and cake and these candies and everything. The expression on the faces that left both my children in tears. And thereafter, he has never said कि ये मुझे नहीं खाना है. He does make a little bit face. Like, I know his favorite, what are his favorites, but otherwise, like yesterday, they were having before his rolls. I gave him a bowl of, we have a delicacy. I'll call it a delicacy, Oriya delicacy. It's called santura. It's boiled vegetables. And he's shaking his head. And I told him, as a kid also, I used to make them first eat a bowl of those vegetables and then the biryani. So yesterday we repeated. Just yesterday we repeated. Before he had his rolls, he had a bowl of santura, the vegetables he had. So yes, we do enjoy these. And I'm
So,
really, after a very long time, see, not 4 years, beta, you're 6 years after home. You've been home with such a long gap after 6
Yeah.
years.
6 years. Okay.
Okay,
So,
so
can
a
you
question. Yeah.
share one favorite moment from the trip with Gibran?
That's for Gibran? Or that
No,
question
no.
is for me?
Yeah, for
No.
Auntie, for you only.
It's for me? Okay,
Yeah.
there's one little question that I don't want to embarrass him, but it's very close to my heart. Is when he was, I think, 3.5 years old, and the younger one was just 1 year. They're a difference of 2.5 years of difference. 3 years, precisely 3 years. So what he did was, my husband is very, very finicky about, if you're in the AC room, you need to close the door. The door has to be closed, and these
Okay.
little ones used to walk
Okay.
in and out. So what had happened is, the little one was coming in, and he closed the door, so his hand got jammed in the door.
Okay.
Little one. So I told Jibran, I said, Jibran, how careless you were. I didn't scold him. I just said, बेटा आप कितनी, आपको पता है कितनी चोट आई होगी, बेबी को कितना चोट लगा होगा. And then I saw tears in his eyes. He kept quiet. He was very upset. He felt guilty. And suddenly I wake up in the night. It's dead of the night. And they had I mean, even when Gibran was alone, we never shared our bedroom with children. He was in the other room, and I opened my eyes to see that Gibran was closing the door. He put his hand into it, and he was just jarring the door. I said, Gibran, kya hua? When I went, I saw tears rolling down. He says, Mama, कितनी जोर से छोटू को लगी होगी. मैं यही देख रहा था कितनी जोर से चोट लगी होगी. And that is something which made me cry. Even today when I say it, tears come to my eyes, and I keep praying कि इसी तरह की प्यार होनी चाहिए बच्चों में, between siblings.
Yeah, that's
So that
so
was
sweet.
a memory which is there with me lifelong.
That's so sweet. So this question is for Gibran.
Okay.
Can you share with us the last time you overheard your parents talking something good about you and you just couldn't contain the happiness, so you had to run, but still you wanted to stay there to listen more?
Okay, so we recently graduated. Later that night, I overheard, like, I was just going to get some water or something. I just overheard them ki, okay, kids are growing up, and it was really fast. And he's got a, matlab, this semester was like kind of the best for us. So I got like a good, good aggregate. And so they were like, ki, okay, he deserves some appreciation. He should get something, appreciation and something like that. I just overheard them, and I hope that comes really soon. Any kind of gift. But yeah, I did. That was the overhearing that I did recently. It was when I graduated. I broke them the news, and they were planning something, and they were happy that I graduated. So yeah.
Okay, that's good. I hope you get it soon.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so the next question is for both. So, have you ever met, like, Auntie, have you ever met someone who kind of made you make you feel like Gibran?
Someone whom I've met, I felt that he was Gibran. Oh,
Depict
no,
Gibran.
because I told you that I'm full of stories. I have a gabaloozy of them. I just take out There's a little boy who's a tenant of mine, Hashmat. Every morning, wherever he sees me, the first thing he will say is, "Assalamu alaikum, auntie." He'll go on. He has to wish you. And this is the first thing that I taught my children also, that anybody you meet, be it a driver, be it a maid, anyone, you have to have the dignity of labor and you must wish them. So they used to, early morning, they used to open the door for the maid and you'll say, "Assalamu alaikum, auntie. Namaste, Didi." He used to say this. And the little boy also, every day, they were really surprised that, "Mama, look how beautiful this boy has been. Look at his values, how beautifully the mother has taught him." And it reminds me of Gibran.
That's lovely. So, Jabran, the same question is for you. Have you ever met someone who made you feel like your mother, like
Yeah,
depicted?
exactly. So, it's like this is like the question that I can answer like even without hearing, or even if I'm not in my senses. That's what Alhamdulillah. So that would be the love of my life, my nani. She is the one, and she always reminds me of my mother. I mean, even if I'm away from home, if I am with her, then I can always find home. And she's just like my mom is just my nani, and my nani is just my mom. So they are like that. They eat the same things, they talk about the same things, and they're just it's I don't know. I mean, they're just the photocopies of each other, I would say. I mean, although my mom says she has gone more on my nanu, but I see a lot of my mom in my nani. So yeah.
Okay, that's great. So, this brings to me to the end of the game. So, I hope you people enjoyed it.
It was
Love.
wonderful, wonderful, reminding me of all these little things. It's so nice. Thank you,
Okay.
Ekta, taking me back to my old days. And thank you, Gibran.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And before we end, any small message that you have for our viewers, anything that you would like to share with us or with our viewers? So please go ahead.
The only thing that I would like to always, I keep harping is connect with your children. It's very important that you need to know your child. You will never look out. He'll never go out. He or she will never go out. And I'll just relate a small story to you, a real story, which is so close to my heart that even now, when I think about it, tears well up in my eyes. It's about a little girl who comes back home. She'd been to a friend's place and she comes back home crying and tells her mother. Mother was in the kitchen. She said, "Mom, I want to speak to you." And her mother says, "Please go right now. I'm sorry. It's time for your father to come. I'll listen to you in the evening." She goes back. Again, she comes back. "Mom, please listen to me." And the mother says, "Listen, why can't you understand? There's a lot of time here. I'm home. You are home. Papa's supposed to come and I have to make his breakfast. I have to give him his tea and everything. So please go back to your room." She saw the child was sulking. She sent her back into the room. That evening, the child did not have a dinner. And suddenly, she had become quiet, which the mother did not realize. Maybe 2 days after, 3 days, she felt maybe the girl is growing up. There may be those normal, they have those adolescence problems. So she said maybe it must be that. The mother just ignored that. And then the girl died in a car accident. She met with a road accident and she died. Not a car, but it was a road accident. She died. 10 years later, when the younger sibling was in high school, she comes home and tells her mother that, "Mom, you need to come and see. Didi's friends are they put up a theater. They put up a drama and then they want to invite you and you have to go." This mother was one who was not very, she was a typical housewife, educated, yes, but she devoted all her time looking after the children, the food and the household chores that you have. So she said, "I don't think I'll be able to make it." She said, "No, Mom, this is the first and last time that I'm asking you. Didi's friend, Didi is no more, and they've asked me to tell you that you must come and see. They've put up this play only for you in honor of Didi." So she says, "Okay," and then the mother goes. And the scene opens up that the girl is coming home to tell her mother, and her mother wards her off that, "You please go." 1 day, 2 days, 15 days, the girl is very upset, everything. And then what happens, they do the drama, they play that. that the girl has gone to a friend's house and she has been abused by the friend's father. She comes back home, her mother keeps warding her off. And then finally, one day, it was 2 or 3 weeks after this episode, when she throws herself, or it was 2 years after the episode, I don't remember, I can't recollect. She throws herself in front of a running bus. So it was suicide and it was not an road accident. Mother stood up. I mean, she died 100 deaths thereafter. That this is what had happened with my daughter, and I did not get connected with her. So there are so many cases where such things happen. Please, parents, if you're watching, teachers, if you're watching, girls and boys, young, please connect with your family. Connect. Anything that you have, there's a solution to every problem on earth. And the only thing that they need is the parents to give them a listening ear, just to listen to them. Half of if you go to a doctor, you're ailing, the way the doctor speaks to you, your pain diminishes half. The same way, there may be no problem, there may be nothing, but the child takes it to be huge. Connect with your child. That is what is mine. As a teacher, as a learner, I've always been saying that please connect with the children. That is the most important thing that a parent can do. Pandemic times have brought parents together with their children. It was wonderful. 1 month, second month a little more, and with the fourth month running, everything has gone down. But anyway, now they do understand. Parents have understood children, children have understood parents. It's nice to hear them come back to me. They should have coffee evenings. Every parent in every house should have coffee evening. Sit down with the children, spend 10 minutes, give them quality time and listen to them.
Lovely, lovely. With that, that was the amazing Mrs. Ahmed for you guys. I hope you liked this episode.